rich with tradition and history. A sport forever enduring and unchanged. Golf is pure theater. Its passion and drama has forged so many indelible personalities. These are the champions who met in golf's magnificent arena. Golf Channel Classics.
The Professional Golfers Association of America presents the season's final major, Glory's Last Shot, the PGA Championship. From the Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York, love conquers all.
Hi everybody, I'm Jim Nance, and this is Leo the Lion, a fixture here at Wingfoot since the club opened nearly 75 years ago. That makes Leo a pretty old lion, but if the trend in 1997 continues this week at the PGA Championship, the player who prevails here will in all likelihood be a young lion.
21-year-old Tiger Woods became the youngest ever Masters champion. Ernie Els picked up a second U.S. Open at the age of 27. And 25-year-old Justin Leonard won the British Open. Any one of them could win again here at Wingfoot. So could Phil Mickelson and Jim Furyk, both in peak form as the PGA comes to town. All these 20-somethings will be taking aim, but let's not forget the roar of some of the veteran lions in the field, like Nick Price, Davis Love III, Greg Norman, Tom Lehman, and Colin Montgomery are among those not ready to roll over just yet.
However, Wingfoot is out there to stop them, and so is the year's strongest field. So let's find out who can roar home with the Wanamaker Trophy.
By mid-morning Thursday, the championship was well underway, with the game's top professionals going toe-to-toe with Wingfoot. Of course, the feature pairing assembled the three young major champions of '97, each of them hoping to score a double and etch his name on the Wanamaker Trophy. To no one's surprise, it was Tiger Woods who made the first move. After pars at the first three holes, this was his attempt from 25 feet at number 4. Tiger moving to 1 under par. At the 515-yard fifth hole, he got home in 2 with an iron. Then facing an eagle putt from 40 feet, he hit the ball dead on line, 39 feet. But the birdie took Tiger to 2 under. Meanwhile, Ernie Els was conceding nothing. He had matched Tiger's scores over the first 4 holes, and when this one dropped, Els had moved also to 2 under par. But Tiger wasn't letting up at the 6th hole after a 3-iron tee shot of 250 yards. This was his approach with a sand wedge. He would knock down that 4-footer for his 3rd birdie in a row. But then it was Ernie's turn. At the short but treacherous 7th, Els showed off his big, easy swing with a shot that pierced the very heart of the green. At Wingfoot, no putt is simple, but Ernie has a way of making things look routine at times. And he moved to 3 under with that hold effort. Justin Leonard had started a bit more slowly than his 2 companions, at even par through the first 8 holes. But when this chip shot hit the bottom of the cup, the British Open champion turned the front 9 at 1 under. But the hottest player on Thursday morning was Tom Kite. After opening with 3 pars, he birdied the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and now the 7th to take sole possession of the lead. Suddenly, Captain Kite was playing well enough to make his own Ryder Cup team. No one expected John Daly to be a major factor this week. But then John Daly has a knack for producing the unexpected. Out in 35, Daly birdied the 10th and 11th, and then closed with birdies at 16, 17, and here dramatically at 18.
It's been a rough year, but you know, I'm plugging along. I'm working real hard, and you know, it's gratifying that hopefully it's paying off.
His 66 was good for the early lead in the clubhouse. And Daly's two playing companions didn't fare badly either, as Bob Tway and Paul Azinger each posted a 68. Among them, the three former PGA champions tagged Winged Foot for 14 birdies. At the 16th hole, Phil Mickelson appeared to be in trouble. He was in deep rough to the right of the green. But this is where Mickelson is at his best. He not only made this shot look easy, he claimed it was easy.
I felt like if I could just get it as soft as possible, I had a huge margin of error. I could have landed on the front edge and it would have kicked forward, or I could have flown it to the hole and it would have stopped fairly quickly. So that particular shot, it wasn't as difficult as it looked to get it close. I was awfully lucky that it went in.
Steve Jones could identify with those sentiments. At the third hole, after his tee shot found sand, this was Jones' response. That's one way to conquer the Winged Foot greens. Both Mickelson and Jones posted 69s. At the par 5 12th, Tiger Woods found not only deep grass, but low-hanging pine branches. The result was a double bogey 7 on a hole where he had surely expected a birdie. Woods finished at even par 70. And at 14, Ernie Els paid the penalty for missing a Winged Foot green on the short side. A bogey here took Els to 2 over before a pair of birdies brought him in at even par 70. But the medalist in this group was Justin Leonard, whose 68 was capped by this pin-seeking approach to the 18th.
Those guys, they both got off to fast starts, and but I've never been much of a fast starter. And over 72 holes, that's what counts. It is patience and just being there in the end.
And speaking of patience, here's one of the best in the world at hanging tough. Mark O'Meara played the front side at 32, and this birdie at 11 took him briefly into a tie for the lead. But he would finish with a 69. The surprise name on the first-round leaderboard was Shigeki Maruyama, a fast rising star from Japan. When this putt found the hole for birdie at number 12, Maruyama was within one of the lead, and he stayed there until a bogey at 18 gave him a 68 for the first day. This long Tillinghast golf course is well suited to the game of Davis Love. On Thursday, Davis's drives averaged 306 yards, the longest in the field. And here at number 5, with only a 3-iron left to the par 5 green, he took full advantage. Love was already 2 under par when he stroked this 25-footer for eagle, and yes, -4 and a share of the lead. But he didn't stop there. At the next hole, his sand wedge approach left this for birdie. That's 5 under par for the first 6 holes. What a start for Davis Love III. Few of the foreign contenders made strong starts, but one exception was Robert Allenby. The young Australian played the front in 32 and was still 3 under when he stroked this one at 17. Is it enough? Yes, to 4 under. Allenby needed a par at the 18th for a share of the clubhouse lead. But as with so many others, the last hole got him. This bunker shot was well played, but it came up a few feet short. A 2-putt bogey brought Allenby in with a 67. Good for 3rd place after round 1. When Davis Love gave 3 strokes back to par, it seemed John Daly would be alone at the top of the leaderboard. But Love came back with a birdie at 17 and then gave himself a great chance at the final hole. A birdie finish for 66.
You can't play this golf course without making bogeys, so I had to be patient when I did start making them, and just hang in there. I knew I was swinging good because obviously I played the front real well, so I just had to hang in there. And it was nice to finish under par, but making those last 2 putts makes the day a whole lot better.
So Daly and Davis were first-round medalists with Allenby one back. 8 players, including Leonard and Norman, were in position at 68, 2 strokes off the pace, with another 9 players at 1 under. As Venerable Wingfoot, softened by a bit of rain on Wednesday, gave way to surprisingly low scores. Ernie Els and Tiger Woods led the group at 70 as 32 players shot par or better. A tougher Wingfoot would greet the pros on Friday, and the scores would reflect that, particularly at the top of the leaderboard, where Daly and Davis Love would struggle to stay in command. But other players improved their positions in round 2, notably Jeff Maggart, who came to 18, needing this putt to pull within 1 of the lead. But at 2 under for 2 days, Maggart was in strong position. And so was this man, Phil Blackmar, after a round of 68, capped by this clutch putt for par at the home hole. A total of 7 players would reach the halfway mark at 2 under in a tie for 3rd place. And another of them was Shigeki Maruyama, who continued to impress Wingfoot's galleries with his play. This was his 3rd shot to the par 5 12. He would birdie the hole to reach 4 under before losing 2 strokes on the way to the clubhouse. The only other international player within 2 of the lead was Costantino Rocca after a 2nd straight round of 69. But lurking as always was Greg Norman, whose 71 kept him at 1 under for the championship. Norman's putting stroke was especially solid, as he demonstrated with this birdie at the 14th. And then there is the man whose record has no equal. At age 57, Jack Nicklaus made the cut in each of the first 3 majors of the year. And if a few more putts had fallen the way this one did at 17, he would have made the weekend at Wingfoot as well. Nicklaus won 5 PGA championships in his career, matching Hagen for the most ever. And this likely was one of his final appearances on the PGA championship stage. Meanwhile, there was no doubt this championship was very much on the mind of Davis Love. 3 under par at the 12th. He hit this pitch from light rough. The shot sounded just right. And it was. Love would birdie here to move back to 4 under par. Yes, the players were displaying their artistry. And so was the famed Leroy Neiman, here capturing the rare form of first-round co-leader John Daly. But that tee shot at the 4th would produce a bogey and take Daly back to -3. That left Davis alone at the top. And at the 15th hole, he sought to pull away. This an 8-iron from 150 yards. Setting up birdie. Under par and a 2-stroke lead. Among the fans in waiting for Tiger at the first tee was heavyweight boxing champion Evander Holyfield. And maybe the champ provided some inspiration because Tiger came out swinging. This was his approach to the first. A kick-in birdie to move to 1 under. Then at the 2nd, he did it again. Par after 2 holes, but he would finish it even. Just when things were going well for Love, the 16th hole happened. This was his 4th shot after fighting the rough all the way to the green. A 6 went on his card here, and suddenly Love was back to -3. Through the first 2 days, no hole had produced more bogeys than the 18th, 110 in all. Greg Norman had birdied it in round 1, but today he needed that 4-footer for a closing 5 in a round of 71. But a new name had jumped onto the leaderboard. With 2 early birdies, Lee Janzen had moved to -3. Then, after boldly gunning for the green with a driver at the short 6th hole, he had this putt for eagle, leaving himself a tap-in to move to -4 and tie the lead. But not for long. The very next hole, his tee shot at the par 3 7th never left the flag. Good for his 4th birdie of the day, putting the '93 U.S. Open champion squarely in the lead. But Fred Couples wasn't letting up. At 14, he had another putt for birdie. And he poured it into the heart of the hole to go to -4, tied for second with Tom Kite. But Kite had found some trouble with this tee shot at the 9th that would lead to a bogey. Mickelson had suffered a couple of bogeys as well, but he finished in style. After a superb approach to the final hole, this birdie brought him home at 2 under par in a 7-way tie for 3rd place. But with a 31 on the front, Lee Janzen had taken control. And at the 10th, he showed no signs of stopping. Jansen's Open victory had come at Baltusrol, and he professes a fondness for courses designed by A.W. Tillinghast. And it's easy to see why, because now he's 5 under par through his first 10 holes. A bogey at 16 had marred Couples' superb back 9, and at 18 he found trouble again. A fine shot under the circumstances, but a bogey put Couples in the pack at 2 under par. And Justin Leonard looked as if he would be added to the list of casualties inflicted by the same home hole. But the deft splash from the cavern of sand kept alive his chances for a par. And once again, he rolled the ball unerringly home. Even par for the day, 2 under for the championship, and congratulations from his superstar friend. Lee Janzen came to the last hole needing a par for a 66, but he too was exposed by the hole named Revelations. Janzen went into the clubhouse with a 1-stroke lead.
I've really enjoyed the last 2 days. I made a lot of birdies, and I've out-birdied the bogeys. And that's what I need to do the next 2 days. I enjoy playing the course, and I couldn't ask to be in a better position. You know, names on top of the leaderboard.
And so at the halfway point, 4 under par still held the lead. But it was Lee Janzen on top. 7 players, including Mickelson, Couples, and Leonard, were at -2, while another strong contingent was at 1 under par. Payne Stewart and Tiger Woods stayed within reach at even. Ryder Cuppers, Furyk, Lehman, and O'Meara made it to the weekend. But the cut fell at 146, +6, and those outside of that figure included some of the biggest names and all 25 of the club professionals. As Saturday began, the leaderboard was packed tight, and the Wingfoot spectators had plenty of choices. They could follow leader Lee Janzen, or his closest pursuer, Davis Love III, or any one of the host of top players at -2, including Justin Leonard, Phil Mickelson, Jeff Maggard, and Fred Couples. John Daly was still a major presence at 1 under par. And so was Tom Kite. And the foreign threat remained from Greg Norman, Shigeki Maruyama, and Constantino Rocca. 6'7" Phil Blackmar was just 2 off the lead, and Tiger Woods was only 4 back. The fastest start came from Maruyama. Through the first 2 rounds, hole number 1 had been the most difficult on the course. But the 27-year-old from Chiba, Japan made it look easy as he pulled within 1 of the lead. The key to Justin Leonard's success had been 2 days of superb putting, and on Saturday, his mastery of the fast and fierce greens only continued. That birdie took him to 3 under. But if Leonard has a match on the putting surfaces, it's with this fellow, Phil Mickelson. That putt brought Mickelson to 3 under par. Fred Couples bogeyed 3 of his first 4 holes, but at the 5th, he regrouped with a 15-footer for birdie and back to even for the championship. John Daly had gotten off to a shaky start. But at the 9th, a fine explosion shot, but still it would lead to a bogey, and Daly turned in 39. Eventually, the Wingfoot bunkers get to everyone, even Mickelson, who would suffer a sandy double bogey 7 at the 5th hole. For Jeff Maggart, it was a fairway bunker that spelled trouble. This was his approach to the elusive green at number 6. With a bogey on this hole, Maggart dropped to even. And Maruyama closed the front 9 less masterfully than he had opened it. When this chip missed, he had bogeyed the hole for 36 on the outward half. Back in the final pairing, things were looking up for Davis Love. After 4 steady pars, he had a big drive at the 5th. And once again, gunned for the green in 2.
Leave it alone, Win. Hang in there. Leave it alone. Sit.
Perfect distance. Love had eagled this hole a day earlier. Could he do it twice in a row? Not quite. But that birdie took him to 4 under and a share of the lead. 1 hole later, Lee Janzen found himself needing this one to retain his half the lead. It was the start of a less than stellar day for Janzen. At the same hole, Love kept his positive momentum going with this sand wedge approach.
Oh, sit down. Sit down. Down.
He would sink that one to go to 5 under and a 2-stroke lead. Lee Janzen Saturday took a turn for the worse. With a bogey here, he dropped to 2 under. Meanwhile, Justin Leonard had his eyes on a 2nd straight birdie. From the 15-foot range, it seems as if he never misses. That put Leonard in a tie for the lead at 5 under par. But this man was not about to give ground. At the par 5 12th hole, Love had gotten home in 2. This was his attempt for eagle from 40 feet. That putt may not have been everything Davis wanted it to be, but this one was. 6 under par and in sole possession of the lead. At the next hole, however, he gave the stroke back after an errant tee shot left him with a pitch shot that was impossible to get close. 2 putts later, he had his first bogey of the day. Up ahead at 17, Leonard continued to attack the flag sticks. This was a 7-iron from 160 yards. This putt to take the lead alone for the first time. Could Davis rebound from his bogey at 13? The answer? Delivered with this 9-iron shot. And the answer, an emphatic yes. Back to a tie with Leonard. But as Love and Leonard were lighting up the board, the other contenders began to fall away. This was Phil Mickelson's 5th shot at number 16. A triple bogey 7 would drop him to even par, suddenly 6 back. And Tom Kite suffered a bogey at 16, then parred in for a round of 71, even par after 3 rounds. And then Mother Nature made her move. At 5:22, a storm hit the area and forced the last 6 groups of players off the course. Only 1/10 of an inch of rain fell, but the winds gusted between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Shortly after 7 o'clock, however, the sun began to return, and so did the players, hoping to complete the rounds before darkness. Greg Norman had been poised over his final putt when the siren blew, and the 2-hour delay didn't do him any good. Norman carded a 74 and was 3 over after 54 holes, out of contention. A birdie at 18 was little solace for Phil Blackmar, who dropped from 2 under to 2 over. A disastrous front 9 of 43 led to Costantino Rocca's 79, while Wingfoot tagged Fred Couples for 5 bogeys. David Duval joined Couples at +1 for the championship, along with Scott Hope after a solid 68 round 3. But it was Justin Leonard who would post the day's best score. Coming out of the delay and coming off birdies at 14, 15, and 17, this was his approach to the final green. This putt was for a new competitive course record of 65, and it was never in doubt.
It was very comfortable today, and it was a nice change of pace from the last 2 days where I felt like I've been scrambling quite a bit. And, you know, it's just a nice way to finish on 18 after the rain delay.
After 2 strong days, a 74 ended Maruyama's hopes. And this putt meant a double bogey at 17 for Jeff Maggart, who dropped to 1 over par, 8 strokes behind. Number 16, the day's hardest hole, snagged Lee Janzen. And when he bogeyed 18, the 36-hole leader was back to even par. And so, with darkness about to descend on Wingfoot, only one contender remained. Needing a birdie at 18 to tie the lead, Davis Love hit this 6-iron into the darkened skies.
Come on. Come on. A lot of people from Sea Island here this week.
With help from his brother Mark, Love set his sights on a closing birdie and a round of 66. Would tomorrow be the day he had been waiting for so long? The day he would break through for a victory in a major championship? After Saturday, Davis Love seemed ready to make it happen.
Very pleased with my round and looking very much forward to playing with Justin tomorrow. We're gotten to be pretty good friends, and he's a great player. I'm looking forward to having a great round with him tomorrow.
With a pair of spectacular rounds, Love and Leonard had spread-eagled the field, the only 2 players under par after 54 holes. The top 10 players on the leaderboard were all Americans, including the Ryder Cup captain and most of his team. But except for the 2 at the top, they were playing for 3rd place. for the big winner on Saturday was the Winged Foot Golf Course. 65 players shot over 70 and 2 shot over 80 as the field posted an average score of nearly 73, 3 strokes over par.
I hit the ball just as far.
The noonday temperature approached 100 degrees, but that didn't stop the Sunday galleries. And Justin Leonard seemed ready to take on just about any assignment. His parents were here to watch the title bout, as were Davis Love's wife and mother. Meanwhile, inside the clubhouse, Davis applied a few finishing touches before heading into the heat of the battle. But the feature performance on Sunday was preceded by a couple of great warm-up acts, beginning at number 10, where Ernie Els gave the fans an unexpected treat. That was a 6-iron from 185 yards. It was the first good shot I hit all week, joked the U.S. Open champion, who posted a 70 for the day, but finished the championship at 290 plus 10. Of course, the Shark is always good for some theatrics, and he didn't wait long. This was his 4th shot at the first hole. Pars were always difficult to make at the first, but none came more dramatically than that one. Meanwhile, Kite had his 2 wild card Ryder Cup picks on his mind, and he was paired with Lee Janzen, one of the prime candidates. Tiger Woods hoped to close an 8-stroke gap, as did playing companion Phil Mickelson. And Jeff Maggart had one day to play his way onto the Ryder Cup team. But at 2:05 p.m., the main show took center stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the final time of the day. From Dallas, Texas, please welcome Justin Leonard. And please welcome from Sea Island, Georgia, Davis Love.
After both players parred the first hole, Leonard was the first to crack, with this tee shot at the second. Anything to the right side is big trouble on this tree-lined dogleg right. And the result was that Leonard needed this 22-footer to keep his share of the lead. Almost. It seems as if he never misses by much, but that's nonetheless a stroke lost. When Billy Casper won the Open in '59, he purposely laid up short on the par 3 third hole all 4 rounds, yet still made 4 pars. That was not Davis Love's strategy, but he did hit this one just shy of the green. It left him with a twisting uphill 30-footer. Love had suddenly opened a 2-stroke lead, and Leonard seemed to feel the heat. At the next hole, his driver again betrayed him. He would need plenty of luck to emerge from that thick rough. With his ball barely visible, Leonard had no chance of getting to the hole. From there, he would pitch to 15 feet and 2-putt for another bogey. And as his opponent parred the hole, the gap between them had now grown to 3 strokes. The par 5 fifth hole had been Davis Love's stomping grounds all week, yielding him 2 birdies and an eagle. And on Sunday, he attacked it once more with a 320-yard drive and this approach with a 4-iron. That is the power of Love. At the same hole, Leonard's second shot found sand. a 10-footer for birdie. But from 12 feet, Love had an attempted eagle. A rock-solid birdie nonetheless. Playing the hole for the week in 5 under par. Leonard then for a matching 4. And perhaps the most tentative stroke all week. So incredibly, through the first 5 holes, Leonard had fallen 4 strokes behind Davis Love. But the British Open champion wasn't giving up. And at the par 3 7th hole, he regained the magic with his most potent weapon, the putter. Back to 6 under for Leonard, and back to just 3 strokes behind. However, Davis continued to play flawless golf. At the 8th, a 1-iron put him in position, and once again he attacked. Justin's approach had settled between the fringe and the rough, and he opted to putt the ball with the flange of his wedge. But this time the execution was off. It would be his 3rd bogey of the day. This then was for a 2-stroke swing and a 3rd birdie of the round for Love. Suddenly the lead was 5. And when both players parred number 9, Love would take a 5-stroke lead into the last 9 holes of the PGA Championship. On Saturday, Justin Leonard had shot 31 on the back 9, and he knew he could do it again. Indeed, he knew he would have to. And at the par 3 10th, he got off to a good start. This was a 4-iron. Just 8 feet below the hole. After Love 2-putted for par, this was to draw within 4 strokes. No one was more acutely aware of the building pressure than Davis Love. However, he played the 11th hole with a cool head and a proper strategy. A 1-iron tee shot to the right side of the fairway put him in ideal position to gun for the flag tucked behind the left-hand bunker. And that's what he did.
Go on. Go on.
Moments later, when that 5-footer hit the bottom of the cup, Davis left the 11th hole at 11 under par for the championship, back in front by 5 strokes. The 12th hole is the last par 5 on the course. It shaped up as another birdie hole for Davis. And he pounded his drive more than 300 yards. But he also pulled it. And the last bounce set him up for a bogey 6. And so it was a rare opportunity for Justin Leonard, who played 2 careful shots down the center of the fairway, and then this wedge to within 6 feet of the hole. A birdie here would mean a 2-stroke swing. Once again, Leonard had given his opponent plenty to ponder. At the next hole, it seemed Davis would lose at least 1 more stroke. But then he played the clutch shot of the day. They both made par at the 13th, and a weather warning was posted for the home stretch. At 14, the tee shot calls for a slight draw. But this ball had too much draw into the deep stuff, and the hole would be a struggle for Leonard. After Davis secured his par, he called for quiet as Justin faced a 5-footer to stay 3 behind. Not this time. And so with 4 holes to go, 4 strokes separated these 2 competitors who also happened to be close friends. Speaking of close, how about these two tee shots at 15? Outdriven by an inch or so, Davis went first and set a tough standard. But Justin was determined not to let him out of arm's reach. Once again, Davis was just barely away. But this time his execution was off. It was then that a passing shower reached the 15th green, sending everyone for cover. But as the rain became intense, so did Justin. And he poured it in for a birdie. Now it was 3 strokes with 3 to play. At the difficult 16th, the outcome became all but settled. After a perfect tee shot around the corner of the dogleg, Davis hit this 6-iron through the pelting rain. Meanwhile, Justin put himself in trouble, first on his drive, then on his approach. To gain any ground, he would need an improbable hole out with his 3rd, and it wasn't there. When this 20-foot putt for par failed to drop, the champion had been all but decided. They both would par the 17th, and Davis had a commanding 4-shot lead with just 1 hole to play. Everyone in the gallery knew they were in store for a misty-eyed finish. Davis's father, Davis Love Jr., had been his teacher, inspiration, and best friend for 25 years before dying in a plane crash in 1988. As they reached the 18th tee, the sun broke through, poignantly heralding the now certain breakthrough of this son of a PGA professional. Now on a course where his father had once competed in the United States Open, Davis was about to put the final touches on the ultimate tribute to his dad. Justin Leonard had played well and bravely all day, all week in fact. But the return of the rain, just in time for his tee shot, just about said it all. Certain days seemed to be reserved for certain players. Justin had experienced one of those days a month earlier on Sunday at Royal Troon. But this Sunday, August 17th, 1997, was reserved for Davis Love III.
Nice solid one right at your target.
After one last pep talk from brother Mark and a last bit of encouragement from above, Davis stepped to his ball and finished like a champion with this 5-iron from 190. Justin needed to make no worse than bogey to assure himself of the runner-up spot. And the wedge shot all but locked it up. But this heavenly moment belonged to Davis Love and his brother Mark. You can search up and down the ranks of professional sports, but you won't find 2 classier gentlemen than these two. And the gallery at 18 gave them the welcome they richly deserved. In a gesture typical of both men, Justin made sure that Davis got his moment in the sun. Not even director Frank Capra would have called for a rainbow in the final scene, and yet there it was. There was never any doubt that this one would find the heart of the hole. A closing 71 and a 6-under par total for the British Open champion. Overall, no one played better in the majors this year than Justin Leonard. But it was was time for an exclamation point. And Davis Love looked for his dream at the end of the rainbow. And the putt gave him a closing round of 66, an 11 under par total, and the major title he had long sought. The 1997 PGA champion, Davis Love III. He shared his joy with his brother, his wife Robin, and an emotional embrace with his mother Pinta, who whispered Dad was watching it all. Davis would answer, yes, I know he was.
On behalf of our 23,000 PGA golf professionals around the world, it's my pleasure to present to you the Wanamaker Trophy, symbolic of winning the PGA Championship.
My dad was a PGA professional, and he was proud to be a member of the PGA of America, and he always thought of the PGA as one of his favorite tournaments in the world, whether he was playing or watching it. And for me to come along and be the son of a PGA professional and win this championship is a huge thrill, and I know my dad would be very, very proud of me. I didn't want to beat Justin Leonard today. I wanted to win the tournament, but I didn't want to have to beat Justin Leonard. I didn't want to have to beat Fred Couples or any other of my friends, but I wanted to win bad, and I wanted to share that with Justin and let him know that I'm proud for him winning his major championship, and I'm sorry it had to be him that I beat, but that I wanted it really, really bad and wanted him to be a part of it. I feel my dad pulling for me every day. I feel him in every part of my golf and every part of my life. You know, I don't put my kids to bed without thinking about him, and I don't go to the practice tee or to a major championship without thinking about him. So he was out there, and when those rainbows came out on the last hole, it was a very, very special time.
Davis set a 72-hole scoring record for Winged Foot, as Leonard, Maggard, and Jansen were the only others to better par. The top 15 finishers and ties qualified for next year's PGA Championship. This year, that group included a total of 22 golfers at 284 or better. The group at +4 included 3 of the top 5 in the world: Price, Norman, and Montgomery. The 1997 PGA Championship, where love